Hi there guys, it's Joel here from Aussie Chart Trends. Today's market update is for the week ending Friday the 12th of October 2012. Today's market update we're going to be checking out the smp500 and we're going to take a look at the asx200. But before we do that guys, I've just got to remind everyone that aussiecharttrends.com.au and this video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at the site on this video is intended to be used as any form of investment advice. I'm not a licensed professional. You need to make your own decisions regarding your investments. I'm just here to help anyone searching for a practical direction in today's markets. Okay, so looking firstly at the S&P 500, this is a 2-month chart going roughly back to around the 30th of May here we're looking at. Now, we've been discussing whether this was a rising channel or whether this was a rising wedge pattern. But whatever way we cut it, whether it is a rising wedge pattern or just a rising channel, the line of interest to us at the moment was this bottom blue line. Now, I was saying in this previous last week that if this bottom blue line was to break, that we could expect some real weakness. Now, let's just zoom in on the past week and just see what happened. During the past week, the S&P 500 has come down in what appears to be an ascending bullish wedge pattern. Now, on Thursday's trade for the S&P 500, we got that bounce that we were looking for. We temporarily got back within this blue line, and then the markets found an area of resistance on this yellow line here. Now, this yellow line acted as resistance a number of times, and the markets were not able to get back over this area. Then on Friday, we had that push down. Now, Friday's trade was quite weak. We broke this red line also. Now, the fact that we broke this red line indicates to me that this is now a confirmed double top formation. How do we measure double top formations? Well, what we do is we measure the depth of the highest reactive move of this pattern, and we add this on to where the market has broken down, and you can clearly see here we have a target of that 1388 area in change. Now, this red line is a new line. I've just drawn it on the chart. I'll show you where I've drawn that line. Under the low of the 25th of June and also under the low there in late July, we found a few areas there of support, and I would say that the S&P 500 would mostly bounce off this line. So we do have one last area there of rising support, but if this area was to break, well, then we'd be looking then at the 1330 area as an area of strong support. Reason being is this was a funky looking inverted head and shoulders pattern. Usually necklines to inverted head and shoulders patterns will serve as strong support. But for now, we're looking at a move from the 1430 area down to the high 1380s as an expected target from this double top formation. Guys, if you find these videos of any benefit, or you know someone that would find these videos of benefit, all I ask is that you do subscribe to the channel and spread the word about the website and the newsletter also. Now, technically speaking, when you have an area that has served as support for some time, after breaking through a neckline, the tech book does say that then this line would act as strong resistance and that we should encounter at least one back test before coming back down to meet the target. So that fairly much wraps up the update for the S&P 500. Just be careful if you are long in this market, because I'm pretty bearish on this market right now. Let's now take a look at the asx200. Looking here on the hourly chart of the asx200, this week we were watching this yellow line to see if it would break. Now, on Monday, we've seen the market break down fairly much straight away. On Tuesday's trade, we watched the market come up and backtest this broken trend line. Now, that is typical market action for a rising channel after breaking down to come up and backtest that broken trend line. Now, as you can see, we resisted heavily off that. We came down, we hovered around our rising support level, around that 4,495 area. And then on Wednesday, we came down and tested the 4,460 area. And funny enough, that was one of our support areas and the apex to our little symmetrical triangle pattern that we had drawn on the chart. We found a nice bounce there. We rallied on up then for a back test And we didn't quite get there, but we got fairly close on this rising level of support around that 4,500 area. If on Monday we come up and we tag on this area, I would expect that this line would serve as resistance, and I think that the asx200 will have a tough time getting over this area. Because of the weakness that we do have in the S&P 500, I am expecting that we'll probably head down and that we'll break these areas of support in early next week. Now, we do have a few areas of support here on the chart, but this blue line, I would expect that it should hold up as strong support. If this blue line was to break, I would expect some fairly heavy selling pressure. Let's take a look now on an extended chart of the asx200. Aside from all the small areas that we have support here, we've really got 1, 2, 3 areas of support left. The one that I'm interested in is this blue line here, because it does come up from our all-time bottom here that we had in early September. As you can see, the market did get a little bit overextended here, but we came back into that channel. Now, this bottom blue line, I would expect that we probably will get a bounce here if we come down and test this level. And I'm thinking, looking at the S&P 500, the asx200 has the potential now to come down and make a bit of a sell-off to around that 4,450, 4,460 area. Now, we may be forming a downward channel, but at the moment we don't really have enough data on the chart and things don't really line up just yet. In next week's trade, I'll be able to identify what's going on in this pattern here. So that's fairly much it for the asx200, guys, and the S&P 500. I think we're going to get a fairly substantial pullback in the market, and we should get a good hint and a good clue as to where the markets will make a bounce, but time will only tell. I'd like to say thanks very much for watching, and thanks for the people that have subscribed to the channel. I'll be back on Monday with the market update.